Jungle Cruise adventure game inspired by the world famous Disney park attraction that I never heard of until I saw that written there on the box. I just saw some pictures of this game on Board Game Geek. It seemed like a fun family game, and these days I'm playing a lot of games with my daughters since I don't have my regular game night, social distancing, quarantines and all that. And so I wanted to give a try to this game. And it turned out to be pretty fun as a family game. In this game you will navigate a jungle, or I should say a jungle river. You have your own boat, you'll be transporting passengers and losing a lot of them. I don't know how you're not gonna get sued by all those passengers. You're gonna lose them in the jungle, you're gonna find some passengers, not necessarily the ones that you lost, maybe the ones that somebody else is lost. You're gonna pick up cargo, you're gonna travel along this river, picking up a cargo at the outpost or possibly finding passengers, picking up clues to get a sense of what might be here. We'll see what that means. But you pick up those clues, then you know that they're not what this one says. You get here and you start collecting coins. If for the first play you get the 3, and then each turn that passes, there's your turn, and people are not there yet, then these coins, you keep getting coins. Awesome. And the game is over when all the coins are gone, or all players have reached the finish spot, and at the point you count points that are basically based on the value on the coins that you have here, plus points generated by the tokens that you will be transporting at that point. Each player has a token that represents their position on the river, but then you also have a board representing your boat. The boat is divided into 4 areas: stern, and then we have port, starboard, and center. Each divided into 3 slots, and each slot can contain a token. So basically you can transport up to 12 tokens, but they need to be in a specific slot. And I wish these slots had just been a little more far from one another. It's easy to put them here, and then at a glance, I don't know, it gets a little confusing between port, starboard, and the back of the boat and the stern. Now, the idea is this: you start with a full load of 12 passengers, and passengers have symbols representing the family that they belong to or connected with. That's part of the theme, but it's not all that important. The important is the symbols. And passengers with 2 symbols are more valuable than passengers with 1, because there are better chances you'll be able to score better with them. Also, during the game, there will be game effects that will constantly attack the passengers and will force you to discard them. Then they're put next to the board. For the time being, they're out. Now, at the beginning of your turn, if you have any slot available, but not necessarily, even if you don't have any slot available, you can rearrange your tokens on your board any way you want. A main element, a main consideration being that the center space is the safest. After that, you will roll a movement die. At the core, this game is a roll and move. You roll a movement die that shows numbers between 1 and 4, as you can see, and then you move the corresponding number of spaces, 2, for example. Then you draw cards from this deck of event cards, and you draw always 4 cards. You always draw 4 cards, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then you need to resolve a number of cards equal to the number of spaces that you actually moved. That means if you don't move much, say you only move by 1, you have a lot of choices, because you only need to encounter 1 out of 4. If you move by 4, then no choices whatsoever. You need to encounter all 4 cards that you drew. There's a profile that allows you to draw 5 each time instead of 4. By the way, these are profiles like special abilities that give you more variety. You can assign 1 to each player at the beginning of the game, so they have special power, special ability. But if you're playing with really young players, you don't have to. So we're back to the point where I moved by 2, I drew 4 cards, and I need to select, I need to select which cards I'm going to encounter. And suppose that these are actually the cards that I encounter. The number of red hexes on top tells me how dangerous the card is, and the diagram at the bottom tells me which area of the boat is going to be affected. So for example, this card may remove tokens from my stern, and this other one from the starboard. We just say that one. So what happens now? And suppose that I select this card and this card here. Now, for each card, I will roll a number of danger dice equal to the number of hexes there. In this case, it is 1. And suppose that for some reason I decided, for example, to just empty that side of my boat, and I selected these ones, then I would roll 1 die for this one and 2 dice for this one. For each exclamation mark that I roll on these dice that have 3 exclamation marks and 3 blanks, for each exclamation mark I'm gonna lose a token from the corresponding area. In this case that was super bad, I will lose 2 of those tokens, and say select these 2 and I put them here next to the board. They count as lost. They're wandering somewhere around the jungle for now. They're not dead apparently, but they're not on my boat either. You also have a warning flare. You can spend it to reroll your dice. Next, after you encountered all of your cards that you had to encounter because of movement, if you are on a generic dot, you get to draw a lost and found token. And these tokens will give you cargo. There are 3 types of cargoes. There's bananas, there are artifacts, ancient cultural artifacts like the Ratman hat, and then here tools. You also have this token here, which is found passenger, and when you draw one of these as the lost and found, that is when you can pick up a passenger that is in the pile of lost passenger and add it to your boat. So with lost and found, you're gonna get a cargo token randomly, or a found passenger, in which case it's randomly found the passenger, but at least you get to decide which one you get. And then suppose I got a cargo, I got bananas, then I'm gonna put them there, for example. If you stopped at an outpost after you encountered your cards, instead of getting a lost and found token, you will select one of the cargo tokens that are there. In the beginning of the game, you place one of each kind in each outpost. So if you're the first player to get there, you have a good choice, and that could be interesting for reasons that will be explained later. If after you moved and you encountered your cards, you are at a spot with one of these tokens, you get to look at it. Hooray! Because remember at the beginning of the game, you will shuffle these tokens, you place one face down in those 3 locations and in this location here. And at the end of the game, the passengers with this symbol on their token will be worth more points. So taking a peek at the ones that are not the one that is here will give you a sense of what might be there, and so that makes it more valuable. And then you want to look at what other people that have looked at the clue cards want to pick up, and so you also get a sense. You get a little bit of a freeloader action there that way. As you can see, there are also different intersections in the map, and then when you get there, you can decide if you want to go and take a look at the clue, or if you want to go by the shortest path, which means you don't know much about those cards, you know nothing, boatman, but you may get to the finishing line faster. Also, when you stop at an outpost, you get to reload your warning flare that gives you a reroll. You remember when you're rolling for those danger dice on your encounter cards. So this is the general idea. Players will travel, losing a ton of passengers and cargo, picking up a lot, moving things around, studying each other's boat. Hey, you looked at all 3 clues and it looks like all people in the center of your cargo, of your boat, which is rarely attacked. Well, all those have a lion in it. What are the odds? Are you trying to deceive us or what? When the game is over, then players count points. You will score 5 points for each passenger that has the symbol indicated there. They're called the caretakers, but that's just all it is. Characters that have the symbol that was at the finish line are worth 5 points. Regular passengers are worth 3 points each. Each set of 3 cargo, 1 per type, banana, ancient artifacts, and tools, is worth 10 points. Otherwise, a single cargo, not part of a set, is worth a single point. Coins are worth their value in points, indicated on the coin itself. Player with the highest total wins the game. Jungle Cruise, fun, but I would say exclusively as a family game. Not in the sense of King of Tokyo, in which players and adults are truly playing together and doing the same thing, and it's a fair competition and they both have a lot of reasons to be interested. This is a family game, as mainly a children game that can be helped by adults. But it doesn't have, in my opinion, a lot of reasons to really grip the interest of an adult, especially a serious gamer, the way, say, King of Tokyo has. I had a great time playing it, mind you, but because I was playing with my daughters, I don't think it's a game that also would double well even as a light game to play at game night with adult friends. But then I'm not gonna have game night anytime soon because I'm quarantining, so it's fine. It's the perfect game for me right now and to play with the gamers that I have around the house. But in general, it is a game that works for kids. It works, I guess, if you're comfortable with the fairly dark theme. My 7-year-old asked me, how can this be a Disney game where you can kill so many people? Well, of course, it's not you, it's the elephants, it's the lions, it's the cobras, but you decide who goes. So in essence, you feel like you're feeding your passengers to all of these animals. You could also feed the cargo, but maybe the cargo is more valuable. You really want to have those 3 tokens at the center of your boat. So sorry, old lady, sorry, young man, the cobras demand their cut. And so it's a surprising dark theme. You find some of them, but then again, when you find them, you find the ones that you think will give you the most money. So there's a strange dark undertone that didn't bother me at all, that my daughter found hilarious, and so that turned out to be part of the fun. Who are we gonna kill now? Whom are we gonna kill now? But Ravensburger plus Disney, not what you expected. On the other hand, Ravensburger and Disney last year partnered for the Villainous game, so that also has a little bit of an edge right there. So interesting idea. The theme per se, precisely, it's fun for the kids because they get to perform these acts of gruesome violence through the game, and they enjoy that. That's how kids are, that they're freaking little monsters. We know that. We've been them, so we know that all the most. Now, in the essence, it is a roll and move game, but with that extra element of feeding people to wild animals, with an element of deduction, but most importantly, an element, well, deduction not so much based on the card, but based on what the people are doing, because to me it's a lot more interesting. Of course, if no one wants to look at those clues, then you cannot spy what they're doing. But kids love to go and look at the clues, so you just look at them, and then it saves you time. For a game that is this simple, that is a set collection with a bluffing element around a roll and move mechanic, it could be, I would almost say it should be a bad game. It's a roll and move with collecting some tiles, dropping tiles all the time, picking up tiles all the time. But it works. It works surprisingly well, again, as a family game. I had fun playing with my kids. I had fun seeing my kids. It was enough to keep me interested playing with the kids. The kids really liked it. As a gamer, I don't think there's a game that I would probably play under different circumstances. So Jungle Cruise, the adventure game. Fun game for mean kids, which means for every kid out there. For kids that like the idea of pushing people in a river and see them eaten by animals. And then you find them later and you pick them up because they make you money. So what's not to love about that? It's a game with a weirdly dark theme, but as a children game it works. At least it worked very well with my kids. Maybe not exactly a game night kind of game, but still, for the time being, I've enjoyed playing.